33 career World Cup games, 33 goal contributions. No player in the history of this tournament has ever matched that ratio. Not Pelé, not Maradona, not Mbappe, nobody. And on Sunday, at 39 years old, Lionel Messi gets one more game to add to that number in what is almost certainly the final match of his World Cup career. And by the end of this video, I want to show you exactly why this final already feels like it belongs to him before a ball has even been kicked, and why the team standing in his way might be the single hardest obstacle he has ever faced on this stage. Let's start with the moment that actually broke the internet 3 days ago when the referee blew the final whistle against England. Messi did not raise his arms and walk off like he has done 100 times before. He dropped straight to his knees and let out a roar that had absolutely nothing left in reserve. This was not a rehearsed celebration. This was a 39-year-old man realizing he might have just played his last ever World Cup semifinal, and the whole stadium felt it with him. Here's what makes that moment even more remarkable. He did not even need to score to be the reason Argentina are in the final. Down 1-0 with 15 minutes left against England, Messi produced 2 assists in 7 minutes, first for Enzo Fernandez, then for Lautaro Martinez in the 2nd minute of extra time, and just like that, a game Argentina were losing turned into a game they won, and that is not luck. That is the 4th time in 60 years a player has managed multiple assists in a World Cup semifinal, and Messi did it at an age when most players have already retired. But here's the number that should genuinely stop you in your tracks this tournament. Messi is tied for the most goals of any player alive, 8, level with Kylian Mbappe, a player 19 years younger than him, and he is also tied for 2nd in assists. Let that sink in for a second. At 39 years old, in what should statistically be the decline of anyone's career, Messi is not just still competing with the best players on the planet, he is matching them stat for stat in the biggest tournament in the world. Now here is where it gets almost unbelievable. Messi has reached the final in 8 of the 13 major tournaments he has played for Argentina, and that is a 61% conversion rate to finals. Across an entire international career, most legendary players are lucky to reach 1 or 2 finals in their whole careers. Messi treats it like a scheduled appointment. So why does this specific final matter more than literally any game he has ever played? Because if Argentina beats Spain on Sunday, they become the first team since Brazil in 1958 and 1962 to win back-to-back World Cups, and Messi would be doing it as captain at an age where he is supposed to be a passenger, not the engine. And there is a second prize quietly on the line here too, one that Messi has somehow never actually won across an entire career of collecting almost everything else the sport has to offer. The Golden Boot. Those 2 assists against England did more than just win the game. They pushed him ahead of Mbappe in the tiebreaker for the tournament's top scorer award, and along the way this summer, Messi has already broken Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup scoring record, a mark that had stood since 2014, taking his own tally to 21 career World Cup goals, a number no player in the history of the competition has ever reached. So Sunday is not just about the trophy or the storybook ending, it is Messi walking into the biggest game of his life with a real chance to finally close out the one individual prize that has somehow eluded him this entire time. Now, I need to be fair here, because Spain are not just a name on the other side of the bracket standing in the way of a fairy tale, and honestly, once you see what they have actually done this tournament, you might start to worry for Argentina. Spain became the first nation in World Cup history to keep 6 clean sheets in a single tournament, and across the entire competition, they have conceded only 8 shots on target, a record so tight that only Brazil back in 2018 has ever come close to matching it in a World Cup with at least 5 games played. And against France in the semi-final, a team with Mbappe leading the line, Spain won 2-0, and France barely registered a threat, finishing the match with an expected goals number so low it is one of the worst any team has produced in a World Cup semi-final in 60 years. And here is a stat that tells you everything about how disciplined this Spain side really is. 12 starts this tournament, 12 wins. Not a single defeat across the entire campaign. Unai Simon has barely had a save to make in the knockout rounds, and Spain's midfield, built around Pedri controlling the tempo, has suffocated every opponent they have faced. If any team in the world is built to frustrate Messi into a quiet, invisible 90 minutes, it is this Spain side, patient, disciplined, allergic to giving away the exact kind of space he has thrived on for 2 decades. But there is a storyline buried inside this final that makes it feel almost written by fate. Years ago, a photo went viral of a young Messi gently bathing a 6-month-old baby during a family gathering. That baby was Lamine Yamal. And now, just one day after turning 19, Yamal will walk out onto the same pitch as the man who once held him as an infant, except this time they will be on opposite sides of a World Cup final. Yamal has not had the explosive tournament many expected, just one goal through the knockout rounds, but he has still found ways to matter, winning the exact penalty against France that put Spain in this final in the first place, reading the game with an instinct that looks nothing like a teenager playing his first World Cup. So picture it for a second, the greatest player of one generation, in what is almost certainly his final World Cup appearance, standing across from the player many believe will define the next one, and an entire footballing era essentially changing hands over 90 minutes in New Jersey, and that tension is exactly what makes Sunday must-watch television, because this is not a guaranteed fairy tale ending. This is genuinely the hardest opponent Argentina could have possibly drawn in the final. If Messi produces one more moment of magic against a defense this good, on this stage, it does not just cap his career, it becomes the single greatest final performance in the history of the tournament, and if Spain managed to shut him down completely, it will be one of the most disciplined defensive masterclasses anyone has ever produced under that kind of pressure, against arguably the greatest player who has ever lived. So, here's what I think actually happens. I think Messi does not need to be at his explosive best for 90 minutes. He only needs one moment, one gap, 1/2 second of hesitation from Spain's backline, because that is historically all it has ever taken him. Argentina's route to every trophy under Scaloni has never been about dominating for 90 minutes. It has been about surviving until Messi finds his one moment and then making it count. And Spain, for all their defensive brilliance, have never faced a moment quite like this one. An opponent who does not need possession, does not need control, and does not need 90 good minutes, just one perfect one. Spain will have more of the ball. Spain might even have the better chances across the 90 minutes. But if this final is still level with 20 minutes to go, I would not bet against the player with 33 career goal contributions in 33 World Cup games finding a 34th. This is not just a final anymore. This is the closing chapter of the greatest World Cup career anyone has ever had, against the one team on the planet capable of writing a different ending, and against the one player who might just be the person picking up his crown. So tell me what you think happens. Does Messi get his perfect ending, or does Spain's record-breaking defense and their 19-year-old heir apparent finally do what nobody else this tournament could? Leave your prediction in the comments and subscribe, because whatever happens Sunday, I will have the full breakdown ready right after the final whistle.